Hello people, welcome to Bad Fashions YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. In this video, I'm going to be teaching us how to make this beautiful and stylish peplum. This peplum is not the regular peplum. Can you see how beautiful it is? This side of the peplum is longer than this side. Can you see how nice? And then we have this extra peplum that just sits here at the side. Can you see what we have? And then you can see the wavy and nice effect that it has. Everything about this peplum is just so perfect. I love it, and I would like to teach you how to make this peplum. I hope this is something you are interested in learning. If this is it, make sure to hit on the subscribe button to subscribe and put on your notification bell so you get notified once I post a new video. So sit tight while we get right into the video. Okay. So to create this stylish three steps peplum, these are the materials I'm going to be using. Here I have the lace fabric, which is going to be the main fabric, and then this is our doll face satin I will be using to line the lace, that's to laminate the lace. And then this is the actual lining that we'll use to turn the peplum. And then I also have my crinoline. This is a 3 inches crinoline we'll be using to achieve the wavy look on the peplum. So the measurement needed for this peplum is the waist circumference. The waist circumference I'm working with is 33 inches. I'm going to divide 33 by 6.28, which is a standard formula for our 360 peplum. So when you divide 33 by 6.28, that will give you 5.25. Then plus the length of the peplum. The length of the longer peplum is 8 inches. Then plus 1 inch for my hemming allowance and for joining it to the upper bodies. So that will give me a total of 14.25. So I'm going to fold over my 14.25. So I open up my fabric and measure 14.25. So once I have 15 inches so that I can have my cutting allowance, it's okay. So this is 14.25 on fold. Can you see? That's fine. And then I'm going to fold again into 4. This is 14.25 this way on fold. So I'm also going to measure 14.25 this way and then fold it over like this. You see? I folded into 4. So I'm going to cut out the excess fabric. Once I measure and I have my 14.25, I'm going to cut out the excess fabric I don't need. Okay. So as you can see, I've cut out the actual fabric I need and it's folded into 4. You see? So it's folded into 4. So now from this point where all the 4 points meet, I'm going to measure the radius I got, which is 5.25 after dividing 33 by 6.28. So I'll mark 5.25, which is 5 and quarter. I'll mark it this way. Take note of the way I'm placing my tape from the apex here. I'll mark it this way and this way. So I'm going to just connect the points like this. So I haven't done that. The next thing I'm going to do now is to measure the length of the peplum. And the length of the peplum is 8 inches plus 1 inch for my hemming allowance. So that's 9 inches. So I'll measure my 9 inches, 9 inches, 9 inches. Can you see that? So I'll bring in my scissors and then cut. I'll cut the radius first. Now this is what I want us to take note of. Placing my tape this way, I'm going to measure this. You see? Like this. So you can see I have 9 inches following this curve that I have here. Remember, I divided just 33 inches by 6.28 and I got 5.25. I marked my 5.25 round and then I measured what I have here and it's giving me 9 inches. Take note that my fabric is folded into 4 places. So now that it's folded into 4 places, that means I have 9 inches in 4 places and that will give me a total of 36. Remember that our waist circumference is 33 inches. So now I have 36, meaning that it has given me my zip allowance. So when working with this formula, there is really no need to add zip allowance. That's add zip allowance to the actual measurement. By using the round circumference to divide by 6.28, it will surely give you your zip allowance so long as you mark correctly. I hope you understand. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out the radius. Can you see? So cut out my radius, then I'll cut the length of the peplum. So this is what our flare looks like. So can you see? So this part is closed. You can see that this part, the fold is inside, but you can see that this part can open up. So I have two here and I have two here. So this is the side you're going to pick. One will serve as the center front and the other will serve as the center back. So I'm just going to pick one of them and slash it open. And see that peplum is open. So exactly what I have done here, I'm going to do it on the second step. That's the shorter peplum. This time around, the peplum is going to be 2 inches shorter than this peplum. So I'm not doing anything exceptional. All I'm doing is just to reduce the length of the second one. So I'm going to fold my fabric and cut another peplum. But that peplum is going to be 2 inches shorter. That would make it 7 inches, the whole length. Because this here I have 9 inches. So the whole length of that peplum is going to be 7 inches. So I'll cut it out and then I'll show us how to cut the third peplum that will just be at the back side. So here we are. I've cut the second peplum. It's 2 inches shorter than the first peplum. So now the next thing I'm going to do is just to slash the center back open as well. And see, this is what the peplum looks like. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to cut the third peplum that is just going to be on one side. That peplum is not going to be a full peplum and it's actually going to be the length of the longer peplum. So the next thing I'll do is to bring in my fabric and fold it into two. You see? I'll fold it into two. And then here is my first peplum, that's a longer peplum, and I'll place it this way. Take note that my peplum is folded into four. So basically this is quarter, that's 1/4 of the peplum, that's quarter of the peplum, 90 degrees, um, 90 degrees of the 360 peplum that I have here. So this is it. I'll place it this way. And then here my fabric is folded into two. So now I'm going to cut out exactly what I have here. Okay? So this is our full peplum, and then this is the second peplum that is not full. So you can see that this is 90 degrees. When I open it up, I'm going to have 180 degrees, which is in half circle. So now I'm going to place this on my lace fabric and cut the lace, cut the lining as well, and then I'll show us the next thing to do. Okay, so I'm done cutting my lining. This is the lace and this is our satin we'll be using to line the lace. And this is for the smaller peplum, that's the half peplum. So I'm going to set this aside. And then for the full peplum, this is a shorter peplum. I have my lace, I have the satin, and I have the lining as well. And I have the same thing for the big peplum. So now I open the peplum up like this so that we can see how we're going to create that stylish effect on the peplum. Can you see? This is our center back that is opened, and of course this is our center front. At this side of the flare, I want it to be a bit higher. I want to have that curvy effect here. That is going to be, what I will have here will be shorter than what we'll have here at this side. Center front. So now from the center front here, take note that I have the lace, the satin, and the lining, all three of them together. So from the center front here, I'm going to shift away. I'm going to mark 4.5 inches away from the center front. So this is 4.5 inches. I'm using the nipple to nipple measurement. So nipple to nipple is 9 inches, and here I'm using 4.5. That's half of it. So I'll mark at this point here. And you see I have my 4.5 inches. So from this 4.5 inches, I marked it from the middle here. So at this 4.5 inches mark here, I'm going to go up by 2.5 inches. Here where I have my 4.5 inches, I'll go up by 2.5 inches like this. You see that? So I'm going to now begin to create a curve. I'm just going to do it stylishly, curvy, and just take it like this, like this, like this. And then as I'm getting towards this side, I don't want to keep taking it off. I'm just going to bring it like this downwards. So now from here, I'm going to measure what I did. From here, this is the back now. From the center back to about 8.5 inches is where I stopped this curve. I'll make sure that this curve blends in nicely into the curve of the peplum. Can you see how it's well blended? You don't want to have any sharp parts. So I'll bring in my scissors now, and then I'll cut out this. Take note that this is from the center front. Can you see what my peplum looks like? So this side is high and this side is low. So I'm going to repeat the same thing on this bigger peplum. I will spread it out and place this one on top of it and trace out exactly the same shape I have here. I'll place it on the table and I'll show us how I'm cutting it out. So now you can see I've placed the bigger peplum on the table. This is the lace, the satin, and the lining as well. These are center front and this is the center back. So I'll bring in one of the shorter piece. I'm using the lining, and then I'll place it this way. Can you see? Take note that I brought it down to the length of the peplum. You see? I place it this way. So you can see that it came down by the length that this peplum is longer than this width. It's longer than it with 2 inches. So you want to make sure that you make it bring down that 2 inches. Okay? So I'm going to trace out the shape that I have here also from the center front. You see? So now when I return this peplum back to the radius here, can you see what we're going to have? So you can see that this is short and maintaining this curve. This is also maintaining the curve. So now the next thing we're going to do is to start sewing. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stitch the satin and the lace together. So basically I'm using the satin to laminate the lace just to cover it up first. After doing that, I'm going to do it round. I'll do it at the down part and at the upper part, stitch it down. You can use your hemming gum to gum it, that's fine, but I'm going to be stitching down at the tip here. So starting from here, I'll stitch down all the way around to the other side. I'll stitch here together. This is just basically sewing them together so that I can have one piece. I'll repeat the same thing for the second row. And then the next thing I'm going to do After doing that, I'm going to place my crinoline. I'm going to place my crinoline. Now, this is now the right side. Sorry, this is now the wrong side of my lining because the lining now has a particular shape. You can't turn it to any side like that. So this is now the wrong side of my lining. So this part is where I will place my crinoline and stitch it. I'm going to place my crinoline like this, half inch away from the hem, and then I'll sew it round all the way to the other side on this side, so that by the time we turn it, this is going to be the right side, because you don't want to mistakenly misplace this. If you turn this one to the other side, of course it will not balance because this side is shorter than the other side. So please take note of that. I'm going to sew my crinoline on the lining and turn the base of the line, then I'll come back and show us what we have. You can see I've stitched my crinoline. I stitch here and here. I made sure to use my bias to turn the rough part of the crinoline. I did the same thing on this side. Don't want to leave it that way so that it doesn't poke the skin. So the half inch I left here, you can see I used it to turn the lining. So this is what I have. So I'm going to flip it this way. So this is what my peplum looks like. Can you see? You see how this side, the shorter side, you can see what it looks like. So, and this is the second one. I've also flipped it out. This is what it looks like. So these are the short sides. They are together like this. Can you see? So I'm going to make sure to give it a very nice press. And this is the other one. That's the half circle. I repeated the same thing. I sewed my crinoline to all of them, and then I used my lining to turn it. So I'm going to give it a very good press, and then I'll show us how I'll be placing it to achieve the nice effect we saw on the thumbnail. After pressing my peplum, this is what I have. Can you see? I've stitched the two pieces together. That's the two full circles. Can you see that? So now this is a half circle here. So I'm going to fold the half circle into two like this. You see? I'll fold it into two. And then I'll place it around this part. Can you see this side has the short effect here? So at this side, can you see how I'm folding? I folded my half peplum into two. That's the half circle. And then I'll place it this way. Place it this way. There's something I want to do. I don't want to leave this part showing for anybody that you just see the lining from the wrong side. So I'm just going to fold it like this, just a little inward like this, so that it just gives me this nice effect. First, I folded into two, and then I shifted 2 inches like away this way, so I can fold like this and then place it like this at the back. Can you see the nice effect it's giving me? Tell me, is this peplum not stylish? And I'm making sure to place it away from the zipper allowance. That's from the zip allowance, okay? So I'll pin it this way. Pin it this way. You see? So this is what my peplum, the stylish peplum. Can you see what it looks like? Can you see how beautiful it is? So I'm going to stitch them together like this, and then I'll sew it to the bustier I made this for and show us the final outcome of what our peplum looks like on the mannequin.
Yes, yes, yes. Can you see what our peplum looks like? The final outcome came out really, really beautiful. Can you see how wavy and nicely structured our peplum is? This peplum is so stylish and beautiful. Everything about this peplum came out really beautiful. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something. If you did, please make sure to like this video, share with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And also put on your notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.